As far as Star Wars video games go, we've taken countless turns at twirling lightsabers and unleashing flashy force powers, but Star Wars Outlaws swaggers into the cantina, slinks down into a booth with its holster clip unbuttoned, and argues that those are no match for a good blaster at your side.
Sir.
This open world, or rather open worlds action game features a level of gun battles and broken promises befitting the legend that is Chewbacca's best mate. However, Star Wars Outlaws essentially delivers a Han Solo-like experience in both good and bad ways. It has some handsome looks and a strong sense of adventure, but it's also somewhat scruffy around the edges and is liable to let you down from time to time.
Yeah. One thing about Ubisoft AI is always going to be ass. Ubisoft AI is always going to be garbage, yo. You never get it right.
Of course, given that its propulsive space western story takes place in between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, the actual Han Solo is literally on ice for the duration of Outlaws. Instead, we step into the battered space boots of Kay Vass, a cunning thief raised amidst the hives of scum and villainy in the gambling capital of Canto Bight, and accompanied at all times by her adorable pint-sized partner in crime, Nix. Kay's quickly shown to be handy with a hairpin lockpick and has an insatiable appetite for five-finger discounts.
That looks nice, huh, Nix?
Although like Dash Rendar and pre-Jedi Kyle Katarn before her, she never really steps out of Han's shadow and becomes much more than a stand-in smuggler with a heart of gold.
You want it done right? You do it yourself.
What follows is a 20-hour string of reckless rescue missions and shady underworld dealings as Kay and Nix crisscross their way around 4 main planets and the pirate-riddled spaces between, attempting to unite a squad of like-minded criminals with the aim of pulling off a major heist and erasing the bounty placed on Kay's head by the crime boss, Slero. This casino owner serves as Outlaws' primary antagonist and seems suitably callous enough.
You must be Slero.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, are we going to get a crew?
But is neither as outright evil as Emperor Palpatine, nor as quietly menacing as Grand Admiral Thrawn, and is kept at a distance for the most part and only ever encountered in the occasional cutscene.
You're gonna have to do better than that.
Even so, Outlaws' story is a consistently entertaining quest, and one that takes Kay through some recognizable spaces and some entirely new, all while cutting deals with countless colourful criminals including this surly Celestin mobster on Akiva, who has the audacity to deal out orders to you while putting his feet up on a desk made out of his own carbonite-encased brother.
He took my eye. He is savage.
But I took everything else.
While her end goal may be considerably smaller in scope than, say, blowing up a Death Star, the environments Kay's entertaining saga unfolds in are surprisingly large. To be clear, this isn't No Man's Skywalker, so you don't have the freedom to circle each planet and land wherever you choose. However, with the exception of the comparatively more compact city setting of Kijimi, Outlaws' sandboxes stretch out far and wide and contrast with each other nicely, from the iconic arid sands of Tatooine to the lush rainforest of Akiva, whose network of rivers is handily transformed into shortcut-making highways once you unlock the upgrade for your speeder bike that allows it to skim across the water's surface.
I like games like this, like where it's open world but it's not open world. It's like sandbox, like you don't have so much shit to go around and do. Like it gives you freedom, but in a certain radius. Like I don't got time to be running around and doing all these 90-hour games unless it's a JRPG, because I could burn through that.
It's a good thing too that Kay's speeder can be upgraded, since it's the only vehicle she's able to steer around while navigating each terrain. Despite the fact that in Outlaws' many bustling settlements you can see land speeders whizzing by, saddled dewbacks waddling along, and towering ATSTs chicken walking past, you can't actually ride or drive any of them.
Damn, that's corny.
Compared with the decade-old Grand Theft Auto 5, where if you can see it, you can probably steal it, or last year's The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, where if you can think it, you can probably build it, Outlaws comes up shorter than Luke Skywalker in a stormtrooper suit in terms of its list of usable transportation types, which is a bit disappointing for a modern open-world adventure.
Yeah, and the speeder looks capable. Why didn't they put more vehicles in the game?
Imperial's over
That's
there.
disappointing.
Outlaws isn't just about getting from A to B, however. It's also about breaking into and out of various Imperial bases and crime syndicates' headquarters at the behest of the various underworld cohorts that Kay conspires with along the way.
Name's Varric, and I've got a real job for you.
You gotta up your reputation.
Nix is vital to these infiltrations, as he's basically a space cat drone who functions like a watchdog's phone. You can point him at switches to activate while you remain in cover,
Nix, the door.
or to briefly divert the attention of security cameras to allow you safe passage,
Nix, put on a show.
among several other useful talents. Kay has her own special set of skills when it comes to sneaking her way into each high security facility, and I never grew tired of the rhythm-based lockpicking, a surprisingly simple yet effective game of Simon Says that has to be one of the snappiest and most satisfying ways to open locked doors and crates that I've enjoyed in a while.
You just gotta do it on
Overall,
beat.
however,
Gotta hit it to the
Outlaws'
beat.
stealth is markedly uneven.
What are you doing? You've alerted the station.
You gotta hit it to the beat.
Sometimes it's far too easy,
No,
like
you
when I
know.
was able to do the tried and tested Assassin's Creed distract and dispatch routine on multiple enemies in the same spot.
All right, distract him, Nix.
Yo, this is classic Ubisoft, bro. The enemies are so
Yeah,
stupid.
and other times it was
They're
wildly
so stupid,
unpredictable,
bro.
like when I'd somehow trigger an alarm performing a stealth takedown, even though it appeared that no one else was around.
How did he not see her? Oh my goodness. It's
Instead,
comical at this
more often
point.
than I'd like, my efforts to remain hidden would evaporate, things would get loud, and a number of other problems would present themselves.
Yo, the AI in Ubisoft games is so
Outlaws'
terrible.
combat serves up some solid cover-based shooting with authentic sound effects and punchy
Okay,
smoke
active
and
reload.
sparks with each blaster bolt impact, but precious little in the way of new ideas. It's less Bad Batch and more basic bitch.
He says that's bad,
It
that's
always
more
seemed to
basic,
be Red
bitch.
Barrel delivery day
I'm
in
weak.
every combat arena that Kay arrived in, and I used these explosive targets in almost every encounter
He
to
violated.
kill Stormtrooper and scumbag hordes.
Nah, he
There's
violated.
always the challenge of knowing when to detonate them to take out the most enemies, but that's the same thing we've been doing for decades, so while it's effective, it doesn't exactly make Outlaws' combat stand out. These simplistic shootouts can also be brought to a faster conclusion via the use of Kay's Adrenaline Rush move, which charges up while she's under attack and allows her to slow time and then mark and execute multiple targets in one rapid hit-firing burst.
It's like
almost
Splinter Cell.
identical to the Deadeye targeting from the Red Dead
On
Redemption
Red Dead
series.
Redemption, yeah, or Splinter Cell. Splinter Cell, you can mark target. Splinter Cell Conviction. Let's not forget that
It's
game. Very good
useful
game.
and satisfying for the most part, although I did find Kay would occasionally pump some stylish slow-motion blaster rounds directly into the cover in front of her rather than the target I had selected. It felt a bit limiting that Kay can only permanently carry her blaster and grenades in her inventory,
Alert!
but weapons dropped by enemies can be picked up, used, and discarded once they're out of ammo. However, what really irks me about Outlaws' approach to secondary weapons is how much it goes out of its way to make you drop them. Do a melee attack? Drop your
it.
weapon. Crawl into a vent? Drop your weapon.
That's so stupid.
Climb a wall or a ladder? Drop your weapon. Who programmed this? RoboCop?
You should be able to carry a weapon. At least one other weapon.
It's unreasonable to expect that I should be able to carry it with me up to a high enough vantage point to best put it to use. It's especially annoying given how often I was hit and killed instantly while behind cover by enemy snipers in elevated positions. Simple and reheated as it generally is, I definitely warmed to the combat a bit more as time went on, particularly once I was able to upgrade my blaster with a couple of alternative shot modes. That effectively gave me 3 weapons to swap between, even if they were all coming out of the same barrel.
It looks
Still
like
at
this
no-
game is combining a lot of elements from different games, like Control, where you have one weapon and you just have a bunch of alternate firing modes and modifications you can make to it. The marking the enemies, with you can see, what you have that in Red, like you said, Red Dead Redemption and Splinter Cell Conviction. So it's they tried to combine a lot of elements from good games. They just did not execute it. There should be no reason why you can't at least pick up another firearm, from your enemy. At least keep one on you. At least have one on you. She could put that on her back. Y'all could have easily made a little animation or a little program that in it so she could keep that weapon on her back. So if she want to switch it out for something else, she can, while still maintaining, your pistol and grenade as your permanent inventory.
No point did this combat system ever feel as flexible or as fun as the best games in Ubisoft's own Far Cry series, and fights started to feel pretty repetitive, outside of the rare encounter with probe droids or the one-off scrap with a Rancor. Having said that, I'll take the basic on-foot combat in Outlaws over its awkward speeder bike fights any day. Since this is Star Wars, Outlaws also features space combat, and rarely could I ever emerge from a lightspeed jump in Kay's Trailblazer ship and not crash headlong into a dogfight that felt authentic to the film.
Right into the smoke.
You know, it'd be nice to visit a planet that isn't a war zone once in a while.
Slinking off to bully some TIE fighters did offer a nice way to blow off some steam every once in a while, as a break from all the face-to-face skullduggery down on each planet's surface. Although I didn't invest too much in the ship modifications, since the modest challenge presented by my orbital opponents didn't ever seem to increase to any noticeable degree.
It looks like Starfield, low-key. I like big huts and I cannot lie.
Java, right?
One of Outlaws' most interesting and novel features is its syndicate system, which reminded me of the reputation system used in The Outer Worlds. Basically, you can't really complete a quest over the course of the campaign without pissing off one of the four main crime families in order to please another.
You want to, make a move?
Cozying up with one cartel might get you cheaper prices at a merchant you're on side with.
How about you let me take this off your hands and I'll throw in a good word for you.
But it'll also rob you of the ability to move about freely within the headquarters of another gang you've slighted.
Hey, you got anything interesting in the back?
Do I know you?
It's worth pointing out that this isn't Mass Effect. None of the numerous decisions I made seemed to make a significant difference to the overall outcome of the story, but they did effectively make me feel like a truly dirty, rotten scoundrel as I continually reevaluated my allegiances in each deal I made so that it would best suit whatever my motives were at the time.
Okay, Manda, you got a deal.
For example, before I started exploring the surface of Tatooine, I made sure that I'd worm my way into the good graces of the Hutt Syndicate, since Jabba's goons control large swathes of its map, and I wanted to ensure that I could explore it thoroughly without drawing too much unwanted heat. Being able to explore unimpeded is paramount because Outlaws does such a great job teasing you with secrets to find, or opportunities to pursue, in an extremely organic way as you move through its four main worlds.
I found two perfectly good converters.
It's sounding very out at 7 out of 10, y'all.
It's
sounding very at 7 out of 10.
Or discarded datapad I read pointed me towards some new treasure to seek out or gambling tip to take advantage of, and it always felt like I was gleaning some illicit information rather than just being spoon-fed chores to complete, as is the case in so many other open-world adventures.
He hangs around the back alley next to the market.
Where Outlaws' quest design really excels, though, is in taking seemingly innocuous side objectives and spinning them out into exciting, multi-staged adventures that regularly took me by surprise. Like when a simple trip to collect a certain object in Mos Eisley took a series of sharp twists and turns, and suddenly I was sliding deep into the bowels of a Sarlacc pit,
We're going in next!
and then thrust straight into an exciting escape from a huge sandworm. It's the lively left-turn stretches like these where Outlaws really shines, by stringing together countless Star Wars references and Uncharted-style moments of spectacular action and adventure, and there are plenty of quests like this that I've undertaken, and likely many more that I haven't even found yet. However, in order to enjoy moments such as these, you've got to take the rough with the smooth, especially since, as of launch, the PlayStation 5 version of Star Wars Outlaws that I played is plagued by more irritating bugs than a Dagobah bar camping
Damn, I
ground.
bought the wrong version. I just ordered the PS5 version. It's downloading now.
Graphical glitches.
I'm about to stream it right after
speeder
this.
bikes crashing to a halt trying to go over jumps, or small hills, or just randomly teleporting entirely.
Hey, yo.
Crucial mission prompts not appearing and forcing checkpoint restarts, and countless occasions where the dialogue audio just dropped out completely.
Hey there.
That's just a few of many examples. So if issues like those sound like they'd force pull you out of the Star Wars universe, it might be best to let Ubisoft blast them off Outlaws' hull like a bunch of cable-chewing Minox before you pick Outlaws up.
Blasters aren't gonna do anything to this thing!
It's ironic that Kay's ship is
blow that
called the
shit up.
Trailblazer, since there's actually not a whole lot of ideas in Star Wars Outlaws that haven't been done in other action and open world adventures. Instead, it's quite like the Millennium Falcon. A bucket of bolts held together with repurposed parts and prone to breaking down. But at its best, it's more than capable of jolting your pleasure centers into Star Wars fan hyperspace.
So it's average.
A clever syndicate system brings real weight to almost every task you choose to undertake, some of which have truly creative quest designs that can often conjure up some genuinely stunning blindsides. Having a pal like Nyx at your side the entire time not only adds an extra dimension to Kay's fairly generic smuggler character, but also gives her an enhanced set of abilities. But even he can't quite make Outlaws' stealth and combat feel any less rigid or repetitive, and the odds of avoiding the many glaring technical issues present at launch is approximately
7 out of 10.
3,720 to 1.
What did I say? I said this game is very 7 out of 10.
enough. For
Very
more
much
IGN reviews, check
turn
out
your
our
brain
verdicts
off,
on
have some fun
Wukong and
kind of
Fallout
vibe.
London, and for everything else,
Yep.
stick with IGN.
Let's get out of
freaking-
here, ND5.
I freaking figured as much. I figured as much. Even in my previous video about this game, I said, you know what? This game doesn't look bad, but it's nothing mind-blowing either. So it's probably just a turn your brain off, have fun for 20 hours, deal with the usual Ubisoft jankery and fuckery, and that's it. So, and I was right. So yeah. Let's look at the Metacritic score. Let's see what everybody else has to say about it, because this game did drop today, but I know a lot of people got it beforehand. A lot of the media outlets got it beforehand, so they've been playing it for at least a couple weeks, maybe even a month. Let's go to the Metacritic score. Metacritic. See, very mid. Very much mid. Generally favorable, but very much mid. Yeah, I guess if you're a Star Wars fan, you'll enjoy it. If you're not a Star Wars fan, you're just taking it as an action adventure game, you're gonna, the faults are gonna be blaring to you, because whereas if you're a Star Wars fan, the effort that they put into adding Cal's story into the Star Wars lore and giving new locations will not fully make up for it, but kind of take your mind off some of it and make you want to keep playing. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna play this game today, and if you want to know my thoughts on this, I'll link the video. I'll link the stream to this video. The stream will have been out by now by the time this video gets released, but I'll link it to this video so y'all could, if you're watching this video and you want to see my gameplay and my take on it, you could jump right over to the stream and you can watch me playing it. So yeah, you gotta do that. So yeah, that's it. That's all I gotta say for now. And y'all already know the vibes. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. All that good stuff. It's your boy JusticeXFalls, and we out. 1.